In this video, we're going to be looking at stoichiometric calculations. Now, to do this, first thing you have to do is to write the balanced chemical equation. So, in this one, what mass of bromine will produce 10 grams of aluminum bromide? Now, obviously, you have to have some aluminum as well, so write this as aluminum solid metal plus bromine gas to yield aluminum bromide. Pause the video and write this equation. This should be what you have written down. Note that the compounds are all balanced. The coefficients are only used to balance the number of atoms, but the formulas for the compounds are correct according to their column number and their charge. So when you're doing these calculations, the next thing you need to do is to set up the rows for a table, and these rows need to be for moles, molar mass, and the mass. Then you need to put your givens and your unknowns in. So you're given 10 grams of aluminum bromide, and you want to find what mass of bromine. You also are going to need to find how many moles. Because your mole ratio of 3 bromine to 2 aluminum bromide is for moles, not for mass, you're going to have to calculate the number of moles. In order to do that, you need to know the molar mass for both compounds. Go ahead and pause the video, calculate the molar mass for bromine and aluminum bromide, and fill it in on that middle row of the table. Alright, you should have 159.8 for bromine and 266.7 for aluminum bromide. So the steps to take to find the mass of bromine that will produce 10 grams of aluminum bromide are: the first step is to calculate the number of moles of aluminum bromide, then the number of moles of bromine using the mole ratio of 3 to 2, and then using the molar mass, finally the mass of bromine that would be. Now, you know how to do all these types of calculations already, so pause the video and calculate the number of moles of aluminum bromide present in 10 grams of aluminum bromide. That would be step 1. Alright, you should use factor label like we've learned so that your grams of aluminum bromide cancel and you have 0.0375 moles of aluminum bromide. Now you need to calculate the number of moles of bromine that will produce 0.0375 moles of aluminum bromide. This is a calculation you haven't done before, but it's very similar to other calculations you have done. So in order to do this calculation, you're going to use this mole ratio that you see here. This is your conversion factor. So note that you have moles of aluminum bromide, which came from this spot here, and then 2 is the coefficient with the aluminum bromide, 3 is the coefficient with the bromine. Moles of aluminum bromide will cancel and you'll be left with moles of bromine. This is the only new step in this, and it just uses the conversion that is right there in the balanced chemical equation. So once you've done that, go ahead and put that into your chart. Now pause the video and use 0.0562 moles of bromine and calculate what mass of bromine that would be, and that will be your final answer to this problem. Okay, hopefully you calculated that number and you should have gotten 8.99 grams of bromine. Great, that's the end of problem number 1.